Ever get that feeling that maybe there's a hidden hand guiding what happens in the world? Well, today we're diving deep into a concept that has fascinated and terrified people for years, the New World Order. We're going to unpack this whole thing and see what it's really all about. And really, it all boils down to one huge, unsettling question. Could there actually be a secret group out there pulling the strings from the shadows and shaping our world? That's the core idea we're going to get into. So, what exactly is the New World Order, or NWO? Well, at its heart, it's a conspiracy theory. It's the idea that there's this secret group, a cabal, they call it, made up of the world's most powerful elites. And their goal? To get rid of individual countries and build one single, all-powerful totalitarian world government. But get this, the supposed plan goes way beyond just politics. According to the theory, the NWO wants to control literally every part of your life. We're talking one single global currency, one single world religion, and even a brand new, very rigid social structure. I mean, it's a pretty chilling vision of absolute total control. So you gotta wonder, where did all this even come from? To really get a grip on the NWO theory, you have to look at the people who pushed it into the spotlight. So let's check out some of the main voices behind it all. Okay, so a huge name you need to know is William Cooper. His book from 1991, Behold a Pale Horse, was an absolute bombshell in these circles. In it, he laid out this incredibly detailed, secret plan for world domination. It basically became the handbook for anyone who believed in the NWO. And Cooper's claims were wild, but also super specific. He was pointing his finger straight at the Illuminati, that legendary secret society from way back when, saying they were the ones masterminding everything. And their ultimate goal, he said, was this one world government run by a small, shadowy group of elites. And if you thought that was out there, wait till you hear about David Icke. His 2004 book, The Biggest Secret, just blew the doors wide open and took this whole thing to a completely different and, frankly, much stranger level. Okay, so this is where it gets really weird. Icke's version claims the world is secretly run by shape-shifting reptilian humanoids. Yeah, you heard that right. And their whole mission? To manipulate all of humanity and basically kick off the apocalypse. This claim just launched the NWO theory into a whole other dimension. So, after hearing all that, especially the part about lizard people, you have to ask the most important question of all. With claims this massive, this world-changing, where's the proof? Where's the evidence to back any of this up? All right, let's pump the brakes for a second and switch gears. We've heard the story, now it's time to put on our skeptic's hat and really examine this thing through the cold, hard lens of fact. And here's the bottom line, really. For all the talk, for all the books and websites over all these years, there is zero, and I mean zero, concrete, verifiable evidence to prove that a secret NWO cabal even exists. And what do the experts say? Well, they're pretty clear on this. They basically call the NWO theory a textbook case of conspiracy paranoia. A situation where you take a bunch of wild guesses and feelings and start treating them like hard facts when they're really just speculation. But hold on, what if just calling it crazy and moving on means we're missing something important here? Maybe there's another way to look at why this idea is so sticky. So you can really see the two sides of the coin here. On one hand, you have the literal belief there's a secret group out there plotting to take over the world, a sinister plot. But on the other hand, what if it's more of a cautionary tale, a symbolic warning about what can happen when power gets too concentrated? And if you look at it that way, the whole NWO thing is kind of like a mirror reflecting our own anxieties. It's tapping into a very real fear that a lot of people have, this feeling that some distant, faceless, powerful elite is calling all the shots in our lives. Which, of course, brings us to the biggest question of all. Why? Why, with no real proof, does this idea refuse to go away? Why do so many people still find it so compelling after all this time? Well, the answer might just be right outside your window, in the world we all live in. Think about it. The world is more connected than ever. Things happen on the other side of the planet that affect us directly. It's totally natural to start wondering, hey, who's actually running the show? The NWO theory gives a simple, if terrifying, answer to that really complicated question. And that kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about. Look, whether you think the NWO is a real plot or just a wild story, it forces us all to ask a really important question for our times. In a world where power seems to be concentrating more and more in global organizations, how do we, as regular people, stay vigilant and make sure that power is kept in check?